There's a famous blog post called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, which is written by a nurse who saw so many of her patients in their last days. And from her conversations with them, she summarized the top 5 regrets that they had at the end of their lives from the things that they had done / not done. This blog post blew up big time, and this nurse wrote a book from the same title. So how I came to know about this is not from this blog post, but from yet another blog post written by one of my favorite persons on the internet called Paul Graham. He's the CEO of Combinator. He runs a very successful blog read by millions of people, and he posted something titled on the top of my to-do list, which is essentially at the start of every day. On the top of his to-do list, he would write 5 things which are just the opposite of these top 5 regrets of dying. How wonderful. In this video, we are going to dissect exactly this, what these top 5 regrets of dying are, what Paul Graham's anti-actions on those are, and what my thoughts on these are. If you're new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been invested in hustle and productivity porn for so long, along with topics such as mental clarity and meaningful living, and I've been consuming content on topics like these since like 5 years now, and have read numerous blogs and articles, and I've watched videos and listened to podcasts on topics relating to these in my free time. And on this channel, we discuss exactly this stuff. So if this sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. It always means a lot. Enough of the plug. Let's get started. So, according to Bronnie, the nurse, the top 5 regrets of dying are as follows. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Number 2, I wish I had not worked so hard. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. And number 5, I wish I'd let myself be happier. In response to this, Paul Graham put together a list of things that we should do or should not do so that we do not regret our time spent on this planet at the end of our lives. And this is what he had to say. Don't ignore your dreams. Don't work too much, say what you think, cultivate friendships, and be happy. Now, this is good stuff. I'm always on the lookout for content like this, and I capture them, and when I have time on a Sunday afternoon, I can take some notes on them, I can reflect and review, and take some action items that I can implement in my life. Paul Graham has done a fantastic job putting out these anti-action items for the top 5 regrets, and he put them at the top of his to-do list, which I also did for a while, a couple of years back, and it was absolutely wonderful. The top 5 regrets of the dying are a result of actions that we take by default. That is, by living our life on autopilot, taking actions in our lives without thinking about them. Hence, they are very difficult to change. Putting the anti-items on the top of the to-do list act as reminders for ourselves to change our behavior and habits so that we do not regret the time we spend here in our lives. So, after thinking about these for 3 years now, I'd like to share some tips and practical action items so that we can avoid these top 5 regrets of the dying. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I am guilty of this, of giving into other people's expectations rather than following my own path. Especially coming from an Asian background, you feel pressurized to pursue careers that are more lucrative and prestigious rather than following something that you have genuine interest in and can have unfair advantages later on. Personally, for me, being the elder sibling, I feel that you are subject to suppress your feelings and take the more responsible role right from the childhood. But I've realized that if I keep on suppressing my feelings and I keep on worrying about people around me and around the world, I will regret it sooner or later. What has helped me in the past is setting personal goals and making the time to take action on those. So many good things have come out of it, from changing my fields to something I like and can earn more in, to starting this YouTube channel. Working on my own goals has brought me so much fulfillment, and I highly recommend it. Don't let other people dictate your life. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Oof. This is again something that I am guilty of. I've consumed the hustle and productivity porn for literally my entire life now. I'm a firm believer of hard work and getting things done and going the extra mile to get the best of results. But having achieved a million goals now, I'm sometimes left a bit unsatisfied, and I feel that I'm on sort of this hedonic treadmill where I achieve something and then I feel like, oh, why did I do all that hard work for? Or, oh, all that for this? Because the joy and the happiness of achieving something just wears out in a couple of days, and then I'm on to the next one, I'm on to the next goal. It is as if I'm always chasing the next achievement without enjoying the present one. I swear, every time I go above and beyond to complete a task or achieve something, I promise to myself that I'm not gonna work as hard as I did. I'm gonna enjoy life a bit more, but unfortunately that doesn't end up happening. Too bad. What has helped me though in the recent past is setting time blocks on my calendar to work on something, and as soon as the time block is complete, committing to not work after that. In that moment it hurts, maybe because I'm the type of person who likes to get things done, but in the long run I feel so much more fulfilled and balanced. Learning to slow down is the key to avoiding burnout and regrets later on in life. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Now, this is very relevant for introverts and especially for guys, because girls tend to talk things out and be open to more talking, be open to expressing their feelings either to their partners or to their loved ones. But for guys, based on their physiology and evolution, they tend to keep things to themselves and focus on finding solutions rather than talking about the problem or sharing about the problem or ruminating over it. But I don't know if you've noticed it, I certainly have, is that when things really get out of control, and if I'm feeling something very bad like anger or sadness or any other negative emotion, and I share that with my mom, my partner, my family members, or friends, or other loved ones, I feel this intense sense of relief and life seems so much more manageable, maybe because at the core we are all social creatures. On the flip side, if I'm feeling something very positive like happiness or joy, and if I share that particular emotion with my loved ones, life feels so much more meaningful. Having said that, there's always a tinge of hesitation to open up about my problem, about my feelings. But once I push past that initial moment, the rewards are huge. I hope I find more courage to express my feelings, to ultimately not regret it later on in life. I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. As life gets busy, we prioritize different things such as career, partners, and other stuff, and friends who made our lives so meaningful at one point tend to take a backseat. And this is so dangerous because it happens so slowly, and suddenly you're speaking to your best friend once every 6 months. I've been through this, and I think you have been through that too. One thing that I've started doing is to practice something called intentional relationships, where I have a project in my to-do list, and in that project I have a recurring task or a recurring reminder for friends that I need to talk to regularly, and I can be busy and that particular reminder can go into the overdue section in my to-do list, but I am going to come to that in a few days, and that means that I am going to be in touch with my friends. Also, whenever I see someone in my Google Photos memories, I just on the spot message them with that photo saying, "Hey bro, that was good. Hey guys, those times were sick. Hey man, I was thinking about you. How's life? How's everything?" And this small little habit has such huge upsides that I think I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Even with my uni friends from masters, we made a pact that we are going to meet once every year, no matter what, for a long weekend, because as life progresses, things tend to get busier, and intentionally putting reminders to talk to people or get in touch with people or meet them is a good way to live your life, is a good way to keep in touch with friends and to avoid this regret ultimately in life. I wish I had let myself be happier. Now, this is such a broad and complicated and such a big topic in general, happiness, but I think it was Seneca who said that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And that is so true. So many things we just think of but never happen, and we create this unnecessary stress. On the top of that, I've come to realize that happiness is really a choice. Being rich will not make you happy. You can be happy where you are in life, although I highly encourage you all to make loads of money, to get rich, to get wealthy, because those things do make a difference in other areas of life, and some of those areas being important ones. Nonetheless, one thing that you can do is to do gratitude journaling, just like I do every night, where I list out all the things that I am grateful for in my life. And it is such a simple and naive practice, but it has surprisingly raised my happiness levels to such an extent that I've made it a regular part of my life, and I think I'm going to do that forever now. The other thing that you can do is to get rid of perfectionism. You can just be satisfied with the work that you have done and be happy about it, because everything in life is about your perception of things and how you feel about it. And that perception and that feeling you yourself can control. So, what I mean by this is that the work that you have done, you can choose to feel happy about it, you can choose to feel satisfied about it, and those things will generally increase your happiness levels, and that really does makes a lot of difference. Again, it's a very deep topic. I can say a lot of things which are out of the scope of this video, so please let me know in the comments down below if you want me to make a specific video on happiness, or how to get it, or some practical ways that we can include some habits that will make us generally happier, or some evidence-based scientific tips on increasing our happiness in general, and I'll make it. But the bottom line is, being irritated and hung up on the things that didn't happen rather than celebrating and experiencing things that did is something that we all should get rid of, and that is a constant practice for me, and I hope that you also inculcate this. That's it, guys. Remember, things are always in your control, no matter how lost you feel, and there is always and always something that you can do to make a difference in your life or others. And I hope that this video helps you live a life that you are proud of and not regret it at the end of it all. If you like this, please like and subscribe. It always means a lot, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.